Good evening, everyone. I want to give a talk about today about Charlie Chaplin. He was more interesting than you think. I know he was a brilliant comedian, slapstick comedian, the silent era, but he's also much more, as we're going to find out. But first, let's have a very short meditation, and this is from the Rig Veda. Just breathe out any tension. Let's get our minds in tune. For let us be united. Let us speak in harmony. Let our minds apprehend alike. Common be our prayer. Common be the end of our assembly. Common be our resolution. Common be our deliberations. Alike be our feelings. Unified be our hearts. Common be our intentions. Perfect be our unity. Thank you. Well, we tend to think of Charlie Chaplin as the slapstick comedian, the genius of many silent films and a few early talkies. But he had a much more serious side, as we shall see in this talk. Charles Spencer Chaplin was born in London in 1889. He had a difficult upbringing as his father left and his mother suffered from a mental illness. His family were music hall entertainers, which was an influence upon his life, obviously. He moved to the United States and in 1914 made his film debut and created the iconic character, the Tramp, as we can see here. Later in his life, he was accused of communism and communist sympathies during the McCarthy witch hunt and exiled from the USA in 1952. He settled in Switzerland, where he died in 1977 at the age of 88. In 1940, Chaplin produced, directed and starred in The Great Dictator, which ends in one of the most powerful and moving speeches in cinema history. At the end of this film, a Jewish barber, mistaken for the dictator and looking like Hitler, delivers a final speech. In this, he pleads for peace and universal brotherhood. In it, he states, "We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent and all will be lost." Almost like a prediction of the way the world has become. And these words are timeless and very relevant to the world even today. Chaplin also said that he believed more in humanity than religion. Religion has been the cause of so many wars throughout history because dogma and authority blinds us to the fact that we are all human beings, regardless of race, creed, sex, caste, and colour. If we see the true essence of religion, it brings unity, love of our fellow human beings, and all of life. We need to come together as humans. It does not matter if you're Christian, Hindu, Buddhist, Muslim, Sikh, pagan, agnostic, atheist, whatever. We're all human beings in essence. And that's how we come together. Get rid of dogmas that divide. He also believed that imagination is of vital importance. It reminds me of the film The Never-Ending Story, where the world of Fantasia is disappearing because the world has lost its imagination. Paracelsus wrote, "Faith must confirm the imagination, for faith establishes the will. Determined will is the beginning of all magical operations. It is because men do not perfectly imagine and believe the result that the arts of magic are uncertain, while they might be perfectly certain. This is all the secret." H.P. Blavatsky said a similar thing. She said, "Imagination is a potent help in every event of our lives. Imagination acts on faith, and both are the draftsmen who prepare the sketches for will to engrave more or less deeply on the rocks of obstacles and opposition with which the path of life is strewn. Half, if not two-thirds, of our ailings and diseases are the fruit of our imagination and fears. Destroy the latter and give another bent to the former, and nature will do the rest." So imagination is very important. We can see that we need to destroy our fears, because that is how we are controlled. Look at the news, what the government says, what scientists say, what so many people are saying. It's all to do with fear, controlling with fear. If we realize we are divine beings, that nothing can touch the divinity within, as it says in the Bhagavad Gita about the spirit, weapons cannot cleave it, fire cannot burn it, winds cannot dry it away, water cannot drown it. It's beyond all these things. If we get rid of our fear and use our imagination in the right way, we can create a better world. We can create a golden age. So Chaplin also became friends with the Indian spiritual teacher, Jiddu Krishnamurti, who in the early days was connected to the Theosophical Society until he went his own way and became a teacher in his own right. Now, this is while they were living in California during the 1930s and 1940s. And they had many deep conversations about spirituality, art, and the human condition. Another person he met was Mahatma Gandhi, and this was in London in 1931. And this meeting had a profound effect on Chaplin's thinking and his views on life. Talking about beauty, he says, "I do not have much patience with the thing of beauty that must be explained to be understood." So in this world, we tend to overanalyze everything, including beauty, instead of seeing it for what it is and just allowing it to become part of us. In analysis, the mind loses its direct perception of beauty in whatever form it takes. Modern science, in general, loses this intuitive link with the object or subject studied. We need to see beauty as beauty and not let the intellectual mind destroy that beauty in a way by trying to overanalyze everything. We need to get back to simplicity. But in this society, we are so complicated in our thinking and the way we live. And that's the irony, that the truth is actually very, very simple. Chaplin was also a composer and wrote songs. His most famous, and also my mother's favourite, was Smile. In this he writes of the power of a simple smile. Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by if you smile through your fear and sorrow. Smile, and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness. Hide every trace of sadness. Although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you must keep on trying. Smile. What's the use of crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. So, to some, it may seem over-sentimental, but it contains a powerful message about positivity and perseverance in the face of adversity. Smiling and laughing have numerous positive effects on both physical and mental health, including boosting mood by releasing endorphins, dopamine, and serotonin, reducing stress hormones like cortisol, and even improving physical well-being by lowering blood pressure and boosting the immune system. They also have social benefits like strengthening relationships and making people appear more trustworthy and confident. This is, of course, true about genuine smiles in times of crisis. A true smile comes from the heart and from a place of love and warmth. It is easily recognizable by someone who is needing the comfort of that smile. There are also many false smiles, unfortunately, usually with some ulterior motive attached to them. William Blake, in his poem called The Smile, writes, "There is a smile of love, and there is a smile of deceit, and there is a smile of smiles, in which these two smiles meet. And there is a frown of hate, and there is a frown of disdain, and there is a frown of frowns, which you strive to forget in vain. For it sticks in the heart's deep core, and it sticks in the deep backbone, and no smile that ever was smiled, but only one smile alone. That betwixt the cradle and the grave, it only one smile can be, and when it once is smiled, there's an end to all misery." So what is this mysterious smile that can end all misery, that can only be smiled once? It comes from the very core of one's being, and despite only being smiled once, lasts forever. This is at the deepest level. Until then, we have to make do with smiles that come from a compassionate and loving heart. Smiles become rarer and rarer in the world today. There's an old Indian saying, "The smile you send out returns to you." But that doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes you smile at someone and they look at you as though you've gone crazy. "Why are you smiling at me? Is there some reason for it?" They may even challenge you for smiling at them. A lot different world than it was in these ancient times. Chaplin also said about love, "Perfect love is the most beautiful of all frustrations because it is more than one can express." Again, very, very profound. How can one express the deepest love, even in music, poetry, or art? Many have tried and produced works of incredible beauty, but none can give us the feeling of love. at its most profound level. What we experience, we try to represent, but it is never what we are feeling truly, for that is beyond any expression. But fortunately, many people try, and this is why we get these beautiful works of art, poetry and music, etc. Now, Charlie Chaplin gave us the smiles and laughter that we need in this cruel world. He said, "You need power only when you want to do something harmful. Otherwise, love is enough." He was also aware of the transient nature of life and says in a very Buddhistic way, "Nothing is permanent in this wicked world, not even our troubles." In a previous talk, I quoted from the Book of Tea by Kakuzo Okakura. In this he writes, "The heaven of modern humanity is indeed shattered in the cyclopean struggle for wealth and power. The world is groping in the shadow of egotism and vulgarity. Knowledge is bought through a bad conscience, benevolence practiced for the sake of utility. East and the West, like two dragons, tossed in a sea of ferment, in vain strive to regain the jewel of life. We need a Nuka." Nuka is a Chinese goddess. "Again, to repair the grand devastation. We await the great avatar. Meanwhile, let us have a sip of tea. The afternoon glow is brightening the bamboos. The fountains are bubbling with delight. The soughing of the pines is heard in our kettle. Let us dream of evanescence and linger in the beautiful foolishness of things." Charlie Chaplin condenses this to one sentence. In the end, he says, everything is a gag, a joke. Now, many may not be able to see things that way for many reasons, but a sense of humour is of vital importance in the world to help ease some of the suffering that is going on around us and within us. If we take away all the petty trivialities that people worry about, people get offended by, if we take away all these, take them all away, we'll have the energy to focus our attention on things that are more important. Because nowadays people are very thin-skinned to get very upset and offended about something and nothing. And we have to get beyond this. We have to get to a state where we focus in the divine self. Then we can clearly see the real things in the world that really need our attention and need helping. What needs us to help to end the suffering in so many ways, in so many different places, even within ourselves. H.P. Blavatsky stated that the three most important qualities that someone on a spiritual path should try to develop are: 1, common sense; the second, a sense of humour; and third, just more common sense. Even that is a sense of humour, the third one. Because she realises it's so important to have this sense of humour, to see things in perspective. We can see that Charlie Chaplin had these qualities in abundance. The common sense that H.P. Blavatsky mentions is on a higher level than what is generally known as common sense, which nowadays is attached to a materialistic way of life. Remember what he said? You only need power when you want to do something harmful. Otherwise, love is enough. And also, in the end, everything is a gag. everything is not as important as we think, because we're only on this earth for a few years. We pass onwards to other planes of existence, and we may come back again in time. So that's it. So we started with a little meditation, so we'll finish with a little meditation. I'll try and find a nice one. And this is a Buddhist meditation for peace. May peace harmonious bless this land. May it be ever free from maladies and war. May there be harvest rich and increased yield of grain. May everyone delight in righteousness. May no perverted thought find entry to your minds. May all your thoughts err pious being and lead to your success religiously. And that's from the Tibetan great yogi Milarepa. And this is from Shantideva, a prayer performed each morning by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide to those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles, and for the boundless multitudes of living beings, may I bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and sky, until all beings are freed from sorrow and all are awakened. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Peace on earth and goodwill to all beings. Thank you, and see you all very soon.